everyone, welcome to A Stitch in Time. Today is Monday, July 8th, 2024, and this is episode 287. My name is Carol, my Ravelry name is Knits and Pearls, and I live east of Vancouver in the Fraser Valley of British Columbia, Canada, where it is stinking hot today. You will probably be able to hear the sound of a fan in the background. I apologize for that ambient noise, but there is no way I'm going to be able to make it through this episode without it. I've got the windows closed and the sun is going to be creeping around to this side of the house probably as we speak. And even with the fan, you may actually see me melt before your eyes. I can already feel the sweat droplets forming on my forehead. But let's persist. I really wanted to get an episode out before I go away again. We've been gone, we're back home again, we were gone again, back home again, and then I'm gonna be gone again. So this is the only chance I've got. Let's start off the episode with lots of good news, at least for 5 of you. I have a whole bunch of winners to announce. First up is the winner for the Smash the Stash chatter thread from April to June. And if you're new, welcome. There are a couple of make-alongs that are taking place in the A Stitch in Time podcast Ravelry group, and you are more than welcome to join in. So between April and June, there were posts 611 to 1194. Random number generator chose post 1060, which was written by Romeo Juliet, who is Nikki from Kelowna, BC, British Columbia. So congratulations, Nikki. You have won up to $25 US in patterns that are giftable on Ravelry. So please get in touch with me via private message and let me know which patterns you would like, and I will get those into your inbox as soon as I can. Next up, I have winners from the Accessorize It make-along, which took place from April till the end of June, and this was the second of 4 quarterly make-alongs that will be taking place this year. So for the chatter thread, I drew from posts 3 to 287. Random number generator chose post 145. That is Fiber Nymph, who is Lisa from near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and also the dyer behind Fiber Nymph Dye Works, which you hear me talk about all the time and will again today. So congratulations, Lisa. Please get in touch with me. You have a choice of 2 prizes. So you can either have up to $25 US in patterns that are giftable on Ravelry, or you can have a $25 US gift card to any local yarn shop that I am able to purchase a gift card through online and have sent to you. So please get in touch with me via private message and let me know which of those things you would like, and we'll make the arrangements. And next up, we have the FO winner, Finished Projects winner from Accessorize It. I drew from posts 3 to 91 in the FO thread. There were a few posts that either were deleted or there were a couple projects that didn't qualify, but the one that I drew definitely did. It was post number 66, and that was from Deep Cove Girl, who is Liz from Vancouver, BC, Canada. So congratulations, Liz. You have a choice of 3 different prizes. So you can either have $25, up to $25 US in patterns that are giftable on Ravelry. You can have about a $30 Canadian gift card or $25 US gift card, again for a local yarn shop that I am able to purchase online and have sent to you. I'm using $25 US as the basic amount. In Canadian funds or in international funds it might be a bit different, but I would sort of round it up. So that, or also you have a choice of this project bag made by yours truly. It's this batik fabric up top, this floral pattern below, has just a off-white interior, and that includes a pocket. So once again, reach me by private message on Ravelry. Let me know which of those prizes you would like. But wait, there's more. So as I've mentioned in the last several episodes, I have not yet heard back from the winners of the sweater weather make-along, which took place from January to March. And so I am going to draw new names for those. So in the chatter thread, I drew from posts 3 to 308. And the winner was post 304. That was DMB714, who is Donna from New Brunswick, Canada. We actually have, I think, what, 3 winners from Canada today, so that's cool. And I forgot to take a photo of the random number generator on my computer before I went on to the next one, but hopefully you'll trust me. And so, Donna, you have won a choice of up to $25 US patterns that are giftable on Ravelry, or up to $25 US or $35 Canadian for a yarn, for a gift certificate to a yarn shop that I can purchase online and have sent to you. So please get in touch with me on Ravelry via private message to let me know your choice. And finally, for the sweater weather FOs, random number generator chose, there were 40 projects. This one I did a little bit differently back at the end or at the beginning of April when I drew. I took the deleted posts, etc. into account. This time I did not. But there were 40 projects, finished projects that qualified, and so project number 14 was by B. Blide, who is Bente from Norway. Bente, you, again, $25 US patterns that are giftable on Ravelry, or up to $25 US of a gift certificate to a yarn shop that I can purchase online and send to you, or this project bag that I made, very similar to the last one I showed, just different fabrics. So congratulations to all the winners. Thank you to everyone who has been taking part in the make-alongs this year. I just love to see all the participation. And it's a good time to remind you that the third quarterly make-along began on July 1st. That is Rock Your Socks, and that includes socks, slippers, leg warmers, and Christmas stocking, if you'd like to do that. Minimum 50 yards of yarn in any of those projects. And so if you're interested, head on over to the A Stitch in Time podcast Ravelry group, read the first post of each of the pertinent threads, and would love to see you there. Speaking of socks, I have a couple of finished pairs to show you, as well as a new work in progress. So first up, I did show this yarn on the last episode. It is from Polka Dot Creek. It is their Canada Day 2023 colorway called Bonspiel with a charcoal mini skein, and it was their self-striping sock set. Again, did I show that to you? I think I did. This is a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon base. I knit these socks toe up, which is not my usual method, but I wanted to make sure that I could get all that was possible out of the self-striping colorway because I only had a 50-gram skein. And so I cast on with the Judy's Magic Cast On, increased up to 64 stitches, and then I did a German short row heel. And I divided the skein in half before I started, and there was one extra sequence of the striping colorway which I did not use because I did want them to match from the it's hard to do that looking at the camera. I did want the socks to match. And then just to get the most out of it, I added one stripe here of the charcoal to the top. So I did something I don't normally do. On the first row of each stripe where the ribbing was taking place, as soon as it switched from like this white speckle to the red, I knit around. Well, I guess I would have knit that anyway. No, I wouldn't have. Normally I would have just switched to ribbing with the red. This time I knit around and then I started ribbing on the second round. And that way, when you see the purl stitches, there aren't any of those little, the way you see the other color on the wrong side of ribbing. I don't know, I just decided to do it. I knew I was going to be adding this little bit at the top and wanted to knit the first round. So anyway, it eliminates that. I think it looks really nice. So yeah, let me just give you a really good look at this colorway. So I knit these, I don't know if in record time, but pretty well. I cast these on Thursday, would have been what, June, I can cheat by looking here because June 27th. The last episode I recorded on Tuesday, June 25th. So Thursday, I think I did the toes and knit the first round or two of each foot, and then we left for a whirlwind road trip the next morning, and we returned from that trip the following Tuesday evening, and I knit these mainly in the car while we were traveling. I did do the heels in a hotel room one night partway through. I think I actually got as far as where I needed to do the heel on the very first day of travel on both pairs. So that tells you how long we were in the car for. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in live chat, but yeah, really happy to finish these, and it was Canada Day weekend last weekend, so it seemed like a fitting pair of socks to knit then. So I hope everybody did have a really good Canada Day weekend, and that all of my US friends had a happy 4th of July also. So, as I mentioned, I have 2 pairs of finished socks. So when I wasn't working on these, I was working on these, and these are my Peacock Butterfly socks. This is yarn from Fiber Nymph Dye Works. This is part of the second round of the Lepidoptera Yarn and Fiber Club, and this yarn was, as you might have guessed from the name, dyed, inspired by the Peacock Butterfly. And so I had, I think, cast these on before we left on our trip to Paris and Amsterdam, hoping against hope that I would actually see a peacock butterfly. Sadly, I did not, but I did enjoy knitting these socks. So the main striping colorway is called Peacock Butterfly, and then the set contained 2 mini skeins. This is, what's it called? Underside dark brown, and then this is dark purple. And these are on the Mountain Tweed BFL base. So these were a top-down sock, which is the way I usually knit my socks. So 64 stitches on a 2mm needle, as was the other pair. And in this one I did a traditional heel flap and gusset. So again, let me bring one in closer. You can get a really good look at this fun colorway. So moving along to works in progress, I have yet another sock on the needles, which I have put in this fun summery bag. This is one of the first sock project bags that I ever made, and I love that ice cream. It just makes me want to have a nice cold ice cream cone right now. So I did show you this yarn last week. These are my July Personal Sock Yarn Club socks, knit from this yarn from Gauge Dye Works. And it is the classic base, I think is how you read it. And that is an 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon fingering. And this is the Wildflower Fade Round Trip colorway. So let's see if I can show you that if you are interested. And then Gauge Dye Works, Canadian company, just like Polka Dot Creek, which I did not mention. It was actually kind of cool. They are located in Airdrie, Alberta, which is just outside of Calgary, which is one of our stops. And so we drove right through Airdrie while I was knitting on my Canada Day Polka Dot Creek socks. So that seemed kind of fitting. Anyway, these round trip skeins, they begin and end with the same color and work their way into the center of the skein. So if you knit your socks, if you start with the outside of the ball and knit one, and then start from the inside of the ball and knit the second, you end up with more or less matching socks. They're not identical, but they're very close. And I was going to cast these on July 1st, but I didn't actually cast them on until July 5th. I think I wanted to finish the Peacock Butterfly socks first, but then man, have I ever flown through them. So look how pretty are those. So I did a 1x1 twisted rib for a change, again on a 2mm needle, but this time I only did 60 stitches because for some reason I just find this, every time I knit with Gauge Dye Works sock yarn, I find the socks just a little bit looser than I like. So I'm glad I remembered to go down to 60 stitches. Yeah, look how pretty. And then the last pair of these I did a short row heel, a German short row heel. This time I decided to do a traditional heel flap and gusset. I had been looking on Ravelry to see how this yarn was going to knit up, and I saw somebody had done a heel flap and gusset, so I knew that the color changes through that area would be fine for that. There's another word I'm looking for, which I can't think of, but yeah, I knew that it would work. I didn't want to be doing the heel flap and then ending up having this partway through and having an abrupt transition between the purple and the green, but I like how that's turned out. So yeah, love these socks. Look how pretty they are. So I'm ready for the toe on this one, and as soon as I finish it, I'll be casting on sock number 2, and I have another road trip coming up this week, and I am not the driver, and so I will be working on these. One more work in progress, and then I think I'm gonna take a break and wipe some of the perspiration off my forehead because I can feel like it's gonna start to drip down and run into my eyes. Just very quickly, I've continued to work on my blanket of cheer, which is, if you've been watching for a while, you know it is a mitered square blanket that I am knitting out of all Fiber Nymph Dye Works yarn. So the majority of the solid or semi-solid squares are from the 2022 Holiday Countdown collection. And then I've been pairing them up with leftovers, mainly leftovers. Sometimes, like in this case, I knit my square from this colorway before I knit my socks, but it's still leftovers of different self-striping colorways in either Mountain Tweed BFL, Bedazzled, which is the sparkle base, or the bounce base. And then I knit a plain vanilla border around them. So I believe I showed this one to you last time, but I think I was either the border was in progress or I had not started it yet. And sometimes I do have other mini skeins that I've been using. This is from an inversible set. I had just enough to do that square. And right now I am working on the border on this one. This is the black capped chickadee colorway, and it was really funny because I was watching Lisa's most recent episode and I happened to be knitting on this while she showed some socks she either was making or had made out of the same colorway. So I thought that was kind of funny, a funny coincidence. So I've got that one, and then I am working on a mitered square. I'll try not to lose my needle here. So this is the current one that I'm working on. So yes, continuing to love this project. I just never seem to get tired of it, which is good because I still have a bunch of squares to do. And got it here in this bag that a very lovely knitting friend gave to me. And then in here I have a little baggie with my next squares that I'll be doing. So I have a number of the semi-solids knit up, and I've matched them up with self-striping, and so I'm just drawing from these. I let my granddaughter pick the latest one the other day. She was here when I was looking after her, and so she chose the golden yellow one that I'm working on now. All right. That is it for works in progress. As I said, I'm just gonna pause here, go wipe my brow, maybe have a bit of a cold drink, and I'll be back to talk about spinning, I think. Yes, spinning and some acquisitions. So be right back. I thought before I talked about spinning, I would just talk briefly about what's up and coming. So this month, I think it's going to be all about the socks in spirit with the Rock Your Socks Make Along. And so once I finish the wildflower socks, I'm going to pull my chickadee trail socks back out. So I have finished one. This is yarn from Rose Hill Yarns in the chickadee trail colorway, and as you can see, I have just cast on the cuff, and I think I've done 1 or 2 rounds of stockinette. So that will be my next plain vanilla sock that I work on. And then I have several pairs of patterned socks that I would like to work on this summer during this make along. So this next pair is in this Canada inspired bag that I made a few years ago. Maple leaves. And these are my Caribou Fall socks, which is a pattern that I designed. So again, I have finished one sock. This is yarn from Sweet Fiber Yarns. It's in the it's got something to do with apples, I think. Should have my label in here. yeah, Super Sweet Sock, which is an 80/20 superwash merino nylon. This is from the fall 2022 sock club. This is called Apple Picking. So I thought it was, I don't know if that's focusing or not. Anyway, I thought it would be appropriate for a sock with a fall theme. And I thought I'd only done the cuff so far, but I'm happy to see I've actually done a couple of pattern repeats on the leg. So I would like to see these finished up, hopefully by the end of the month, but certainly within, certainly before the end of the summer. And these ones will be for me to wear. I did a couple of sample socks, but not ones for myself. So that's what the plans are for the next little while. But yeah, let's talk spinning. I have one skein that I am so happy with, so proud of. I didn't show you the before because I did this, I guess I spun the singles after I came back from Amsterdam, and then I let these singles sit for almost a week while I was waiting for one of my new acquisitions, which is a tensioned tensioned Lazy Kate, which I'll show you in a minute. And so I did, whoops, I just dropped, somehow picked up a row counter, and I don't even know where it came from, but it just fell on the floor. I'll get that later. Anyway, I did a 3-ply. I was spinning, again, some yarn from Useful Creations, who was a local to me dyer, and it's the woman I bought my spinning wheel from. This is a BFL. It does not say superwash, so I'm going to assume it's not. And I also bought a Niddy Noddy, which I will show you in a minute, and that is something you use to wind and measure your yardage. And so I think I got about 125 yards from this of a 3-ply, and then about almost 12 yards of a 2-ply. But look at this. I am so happy with this yarn. Look how well balanced it is. It's not twisting at all. And like, it's so much more consistent than what I have been spinning, and it's not overspun, and I could not be happier with this yarn. It gives me hope. It gives me hope that I'm improving, and I know I am, but sometimes, you know, get impatient too. I shouldn't say that. I'm actually not too impatient. I'm giving myself a lot of slack as a beginner spinner, but when I saw how this turned out, I just could not have been happier. So not sure what I'm gonna make out of it yet, but I love it. I wish I had bought like a bunch of skeins and had enough to do like a sweater out of. That would make a really nice weekender or something, but I'll content myself with the one skein. And then here's what the 2-ply looks like. It's just with what I had left over, and I had a little bit to practice my chain plying, which did not go very well, but that has a little more twist to it. But yeah, looks pretty even as a 2-ply. So very, very happy with that. I am a little less happy with my next skein. So after I spun this, I had a superwash merino speckled braid, which is, the speckle is like little tweedy bits. And I did show you this yarn, or this braid, when I purchased it. It's also from Useful Creations, and it did a gradient from went from pink to green to pink to blue to green to yellow to purple. And so I thought, my initial thought was I would do a 2-ply. I would spin it from end to end, and then ply it in a 2-ply and the colors would overlap. And then I ended up not really thinking it through, because I ended up dividing each color section out lengthwise. So I took all the purple, took all the blue, took all the green, and then I divided those sections in two, but then I divided them in two again, not thinking that if I did that, I was going to end up with pink, then I was going to end up with like blue to green, and then blue to green again, and then green to yellow, and then green to yellow again. So it didn't go quite how I planned, but it's still like, it's really pretty. The colors are pretty, and it's when I was spinning it, I was really happy with how it was spinning up. It felt very manageable, and I let the singles sit for a few days to let some of the twist go out. And when I was applying it, I was really happy with it, but I don't know, it's not what I was expecting. After this blue, and it plied so nicely, this just didn't do it. It's a lot looser ply than I thought I was getting. And I don't know if it's me. Very possible. I don't know if it's the fiber itself. I mean, there's a decent looking plied section, but even there, it's not like super tight. And there are some parts that are twisty. You can see that's kind of, when it's not stretched, it's kind of overspun a bit. It was twisting back on itself a little bit here. Whatever. I did spin, oh, I can't reach it. I had spun some yarn in this base before, and I feel like it kind of came out the same way. So it might in part be just this base, that it doesn't want to ply up the same way. See, that doesn't look bad. But then you have sections where that seems really loose, like to me. That seems like a loose ply. Spinners out there, would I wreck it if I ran it back through and plied it again? Just, it's already plied, but if I ran it through again, would that tighten it, or do I run the risk of like wrecking it? In any case, I thought this would be really fun, either knit up in some sort of shawlette or cowl, or even in like one of the shift patterns, like the shift, probably the shift cowl. I have about, from what I can tell, I have about 197 yards of this. And yeah, look, see, that's all kind of still a lot of spring in there, so I don't know. Try not to be too critical, but I have to be honest, right? Anyway, I think it's really pretty, it's really fun, so I am thinking about some kind of either putting it with another yarn to do some kind of color changing pattern like that, or just doing it on its own in a little shawlette or cowl and let the colors kind of shine. So that was really fun to spin with all the different colors in it. And so what I decided to do for my next spin is I pulled out this really pretty, again from Useful Creations, a superwash merino with Stellina yarn. You can't see, there's a little bit, I think you can see the sparkles a little bit there. So I took it out, I split it into three end to end. I'm just planning again, I thought I would 3-ply it. But then I started spinning it. I got like that far, and it just, the take-up seemed very quick, and it was slipping out of my hands. I couldn't, it just was not the, it was not the relaxing spin that I was looking for. So I very quickly decided, okay, I'm just going to, I mean, it's spinning up okay, it looks nice. I just thought, no, this isn't what I want. Actually, you can see there are parts that are better spun here. Whoops. There. Like that's better, although you can see, again, got some twist to it. Probably over twisting. Oh. In any case, I liked how it was looking. I didn't like the feel of it. Not what I was looking for. So I instead decided to spin up this wool blend I had also from Useful Creations. So I had bought 3 braids in 3 different colorways, which kind of make a gradient. And then this chocolate brown. And that spun up so much more easily. It just, it felt so good. It's a lot toothier, so it was not slipping out of my hands the same way, and I didn't feel like I was going so fast that I couldn't keep up, which is how I felt with that merino. And I thought it might be neat to spin all of these up separately and ply them together in a 3-ply, make kind of like a marl. So I'll show you now. This is my tensioned Lazy Kate, because I have put all 3 of those first bobbins on here. So you have it on here. You have this line that goes around and a knob to adjust the tension. And so when you're pulling on these, it just gives some tension to the bobbins rather than free spinning the way they do on a regular Lazy Kate. And I just read something about that, giving you more control when you're plying. And so you can see, just because I brought them through here and they've twisted on themselves, but you can see how that's going to look, which I think is quite cool. So I think that's going to look really nice. So I still have to decide for sure if that's what I want to do, but that's what I'm leaning towards. I think that would be a neat thing. And I would then probably spin, I divided the braids into 3 each, and so I don't think I have enough. I probably have enough on here to put another another third of the braid on. I don't know if I have enough room on these bobbins to do all 3. So what I would probably do is just spin 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, ply them together, and then repeat that twice more. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how these spun up. I think they look pretty darn good. So yeah, that was the relaxing spin I was looking for. And then, as I mentioned, I got a Nitty Naughty. So you wind your yarn on here. It measures 60 inches, so you count how many wraps you get. And then times it by 60, divide by 36, and that's how many yards you have. So it's nice to have an idea now, because otherwise, you know, it's just a guess. And I got those from Yarn Canada. They used to sell a whole lot of different brands of yarns. Now they mainly focus on weaving and spinning products, so you can get spinning wheels and looms and accessories. And then they do have some weaving yarn from Ashford. They're an Ashford dealer, and not sure if they carry any other brands, but yeah. Anyway, I ordered that from there. I ordered that before we left for Europe, and then it was back ordered. And one thing, they've been great about keeping in touch. So I was asked, okay, it's going to be back ordered. Do you want us to refund you the money? It was the Lazy Kate that was back ordered. And I said, no, just, I'm going to be gone anyway. So just when do you think it's coming in? They said that we think by the end of June. said, yeah, just hold on to it. And then I got notification of shipping after we got home, and then it came while we were, or just came the day before we left for our last trip. So it was perfect. I didn't miss it at all. Came at just the right time. All right, so I've referenced our trip to Alberta several times. So I think I explained last episode that we were going to attend a family dinner, which would be a memorial or celebration of life for Cameron's aunt who passed away at the end of March. And then a new development was the weekend before we were supposed to leave. His other aunt, who lives in Calgary, Alberta, which is where we were going, she went into the hospital. And I won't go into health details, but we thought it was important to go see her regardless, that we probably, almost definitely, would not get another chance to do that. And so we did go as planned, left here the Friday morning and drove straight through to Calgary. I think driving time, it's about 9.5 hours of driving, but of course we made some stops for meals and snacks and things. You'll see a picture on my Canada Day sock project page of socks next to some Tim Hortons cups. We made numerous stops at Tim Hortons. We are not coffee drinkers, but we are tea drinkers. And so, yes, we stopped a couple times a day anyway on our driving days, to get some Timmies to see us through to the next break. And in any case, we got there Friday night and we had just checked into our hotel room, and then we spotted Cameron's cousin in the parking lot. They live in Saskatchewan, one province over from Alberta, the other direction to BC. And it's his mom that was in the hospital. So we saw him and his wife, kind of caught up, had a little chat for a little while, and then agreed to get together the next day. And so the next day, twice we went in with them to the hospital to visit Cameron's aunt. And then that night, it was Cameron's other cousin, his girl cousin, who lives in Calgary. It was her husband's birthday, and he had planned to sort of postpone his birthday celebrations one day in lieu of, or in deference to planning this memorial dinner. But since that wasn't taking place after all, then we did go out for dinner and celebrate his birthday, and then go back to their house for some birthday cake. So we had a very nice visit with Cameron's aunt and her two children, their spouses, and then she has two grandchildren who both were home for the weekend, and got a chance to reacquaint ourselves with them. So overall, a very, very good visit there. And then Sunday morning, we got up and drove to Edmonton, which is about, I think, driving time approximately 3 hours north of Calgary. Again, a few stops in between. And we had planned to go and see my aunt there once we learned of this Calgary trip. But unfortunately, I think as I mentioned last week, my aunt passed away just a few days before we left for Europe. And so unfortunately, we missed that opportunity to see her, but I was hoping to see some cousins. She has 4 children that live in the Edmonton area, and one of my cousins arranged a little get-together at her house for Sunday afternoon, and so two of my other cousins were there, and then One of them has a son who was there with his grandson. One of my cousins, the person who was hosting it, her daughter was visiting from California. And so she was there, hadn't seen her for years and years and years. So I had a great visit there, then a quiet Sunday night, and then the next morning we visited my last cousin there, who lives the other side of town. Doesn't get around too well. So we stopped to visit with her. And then while we were driving to Calgary, I had received a text from another cousin, one of my cousin's daughters, to say that her and one of her cousins and their family were camping. They have like a trailer park, a summer, vacation spot where they have different lots for trailers. That was west of town in the direction we were heading. And so they invited us to come for lunch. And so we met up with them also on our way out of town. So it was fantastic. I was hoping to see some family, but I know how hard it is for all of us to get together, even though we live in the same city, and they're even more spread out than we are. And yet I managed to see all 4 of my first cousins and various second cousins and even a third cousin. And yeah, I know technically they're first cousins once and twice removed, but for ease, we just call them second and third cousins. So anyway, saw lots of family. And that was all great. We were going to head into a town not too far from the BC-Alberta border and stay there overnight before driving home the next day. And we were well on our way. We made a Timmy's stop in one town, and as we were leaving town to get back on the highway, there was a detour because of an accident. So we weren't exactly sure where we were. Pulled out the phone and took a look at the directions and saw where the logical place would be to detour. Went along there, and there was a lot of traffic coming from the other direction trying to turn left onto the road we were on, and then the lane that we would have taken was blocked, and a woman said, there's no point going that way, there's another accident that way, so keep going. So followed the traffic and could see by then there was no service, no internet, so I couldn't see exactly all the roads we were supposed to take, but I could see, okay, if we continue on this road, we'll come up at the next town on the highway and just skirt everything. And then we were driving along and we see this sign to Hinton. Okay, turn on that. Turns out to be a gravel road that went for 52 kilometers. It was so dusty, so dusty. I was actually in really good shape except for one spot. It was in excellent shape actually for a gravel road, pardon me, but super dusty. And you have like a car a little ways ahead of you and a car vehicle behind. But we made it to the next town, no problem. And then when I had internet service again, I could see there actually was a paved road we could have taken if we'd gone a little further before we turned off for the gravel road, but we didn't know. And we did end up cutting some distance off going that way, but it might have been a more pleasant drive the other way. But it doesn't matter. We got where we needed to go, continued on our way, and we did see some elk. We have to go through Jasper National Park to get to the border, and we did see elk in several places. Didn't really get any great pictures of them, unfortunately, but we were on the lookout for animals the whole way. We saw some deer. We did see a couple of bighorn sheep very quickly, and then we did see some elk. And on our way there, we had to drive partway through Banff National Park. Those are 2 national parks that are in the Rocky Mountains. And you know, I've done them before several times, but you forget just how gorgeous they are. So I was taking a lot of video footage and photos on the way. I do not know how it turned out. I haven't looked at it yet. So I think what I'll do is, if you're interested in seeing some beautiful mountains, I will put a little montage together, put it at the end of this episode, because it's just spectacular scenery, and we're so spoiled to have it, you know, so close to where we live. I'm looking at my notes and I see something good, and I forgot to write anything down. But I would say something good was just seeing so much family in such a short space of time. I think I mentioned last episode, we've lost some relatives on both sides of the family this past year. And, you know, we're reaching that age where certainly our parents' generation is passing away. My mom is now the only person of her generation left on my dad's side of the family. She and my aunt in Edmonton were the last two that married my brothers, my dad and his brother. And so on Cameron's side, it's his dad's sibling, his dad's sister passed away long before Cameron was even born. So he's never had any relatives on that side, but now it's just his mom and his aunt. So yeah, you just sort of think you need to see people when you can. And I've lost some cousins, so people in my own generation recently. So it just felt really great to see some family, even though it was a lot of driving, and in a short space of time. Lots of hotels and restaurant meals and all that stuff that go along with it, but it was totally worth it. All right, I think I've talked long enough. It is now just about 2 in the afternoon, so I need to get some lunch. I'm going to try and edit this and get it up by the end of the day, but Cameron has ball tonight, and so that may not happen. If not, you will see it sometime tomorrow on Tuesday, but hopefully I'll get it up Monday night sometime. So I didn't mention we both are in separate vehicles heading out again on Thursday. So Thursday morning am going to my mom's with one of my sisters. Cameron is going to travel that evening up with one of our sons and his girlfriend, and then another sister and her husband are leaving to go up tomorrow, and we're all going to help my mom with a garage sale. And so the time is right, and so we're going to be heading up and helping her. So be gone a few more days, and then when I'm back home the next time, I'm back here to stay for a while, and I am so looking forward to that. I have some longer term projects I want to do. I'm really itching to cast on a sweater, and would like to do some more weaving and of course some more spinning. So I'm gonna guess the next episode is probably gonna come up in about 2 weeks, so keep your eye out for that. Take care until then. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.